Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Matt and I do like video games, and in today's video we're talking all about Palworld, so let's get into it. So in case you've been out of the loop for the past week at this point, I suppose, the biggest game of the year is in Game Pass. It launched in Game Pass and it's doing ridiculous numbers on Steam. And when I say the biggest game of the year, this is probably the biggest game in recent history. I mean, right now on Steam, it's charting 2 million concurrent players. For perspective on that, Baldur's Gate 3, which we all thought was crazy, was around 875,000, 873,000 concurrent players, which, to be fair, is still bonkers. But then seemingly out of nowhere comes this little game called Palworld. And I remember they showed it off late last year or in the middle of last year. I think it was Summer Games Fest. Everybody's general sentiment of the game, mine included, was looks like Pokemon, but they put guns in the game. And when I saw it at the time, I'm like, I'll give it a shot. It wasn't super on my radar, but I'm like, yeah, when it comes out, if I've got time, I'll definitely try it out. Well, guys, the game came out, and it is a resounding success. It is in Game Pass, like I said, but also on Steam. It's doing the numbers that it's doing right now, and as of right now, they have sold 7 million copies, and that was actually not as of right now. That was as of like 24 hours ago. As I'm recording this, they sold 7 million copies. Now, to put that in perspective, the game cost, or the rumored cost for the game, was about $7 million. So you figure they're selling 7 million copies at $29, $30 a pop. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of profit. And the strangest part about this game is not so much, anything to do with the game itself. It's more to do with the controversy surrounding the game. Because there is a good amount of controversy surrounding the game, and there seems to be controversy surrounding it every single day. I mean, at least since its release, we've had something to talk about every single day. People are very determined to make themselves look stupid in discussions about this game, and that's exactly what's gone on for the past 6-7 days at this point. There's been this one specific PlayStation insider who's not a PlayStation insider, he's a guy who's full of shit, but he's pretending to be an insider, and he's been saying that Palworld community manager has been receiving death threats from Xbox players in a bid to stop them from porting the game to PlayStation. Which, I mean, the whole concept of that is insane. And if that's the case, then it's not Xbox players, it's a couple of insane people. And you shouldn't be taking these people seriously. But unfortunately for this guy, that is not the case. And fortunately for the rest of us, that is not the case. Because he is a fake insider. He's just lying, and he lies every day about this game in some way, shape, or form. We've seen a developer from a studio as prestigious as Naughty Dog come out and say that something feels off with the game and not really give any specific details and no real proof that that's the case other than that is, quote, their developer intuition. It's been a really silly couple of days online with topics surrounding this game, and it's making people seem more and more silly by the day, quite honestly. And as for myself, I've just kind of been sat back watching it all unfold, and while I'm watching it all unfold, guess what I'm doing? I'm playing Palworld, and I'm really, really loving it. And that's what I really want to talk about in today's video, is how much I love this game and how surprised I am that I love this game. If you're not aware what Palworld is or what kind of game Palworld is, it's basically a survival game. I've seen people compare it to Ark. In fact, my buddy Ham Solo, who I do the two-player podcast with every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern here on the channel. Quick plug for that, by the way. As well, check out TSWS Gaming. I'm going to remember to leave a link to that in the channel, so you can check out his channel. I'm also on his channel every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern for Bullsitting with Loke, Ham, Cozy, and myself. But back to what I was saying. My buddy Ham had made a tweet that read something along the lines of, Palworld reminds him a lot of Ark. And when I read that, I hadn't played Palworld up to that point. And I saw that and I was like, ugh, Me personally, I don't love Ark. I've tried numerous times. My buddies have tried numerous times to get me into it. It just hasn't happened. It does not click with me at all. And when I saw him say that, I was like, I don't know if this game's for me. And I was saying that before even giving it a chance. And then I said, you know what? It's a small download. I'll download it and I'll give it a shot. Well, I downloaded it, I gave it a shot, and I legitimately can't stop playing the game. It's so damn fun. And here's the thing, I'm probably only experiencing like a small percentage of the game, because really all I'm doing when I play Palworld is I'm managing my base. I'm building my base or managing my base. There's like boss fights and everything that I really haven't done, except for like the one that you do for the tutorial. I've done that, but there's all sorts of different pals that you can capture that I haven't even tried to capture, that I haven't even seen yet, because all I'm doing is focusing on building my base right now. And that is so much fun to me. It's one of the reasons I know a lot of people crap on Fallout 4, especially the base building and the settlement management part of it. But that's one of the reasons I love Fallout 4 so much. That's one of the reasons Fallout 4 is my favorite Fallout game, is because on top of being a Fallout game, it's also a base building and settlement management game. And it's a pretty decent one at that. And that's one of the reasons I got so heavy into Fallout 4. And that's one of the reasons I'm getting so heavy into Palworld right now. And after playing it on Game Pass, on my Xbox, on my PC as well, I went ahead and I bought it on Steam just to show support, because I love the game that much. And what's funny is I'll also probably end up buying it on Xbox as well. Again, just to show support because I love the game that much. But what's hilarious is the obvious comparison to Palworld that people are making is Pokemon. Because let's keep it 100% honest, there's a few similarities between Pokemon and Palworld. The thing that sets it apart for me, and I'm someone who grew up loving Pokemon, and I said this on our last episode of the Two Player Podcast, I loved Pokemon until I was about 13. And for whatever reason, I just kind of aged out of it. I didn't start hating it or anything, it's just I kind of stopped keeping up with it. And I feel like Palworld is something that would have been awesome to have at that time in the Pokemon universe, because I feel like that's kind of like the natural evolution of what they should have done with Pokemon, as the people who were watching and loving it were growing up alongside the show, is to give you an experience like Palworld. Obviously, you probably couldn't have done that back in the day on those systems, but like give you something that's like Palworld. Something a little bit more mature, something a little bit more for, you know, older kids, adults and stuff like that to get into, so they could still love Pokemon, but they could also kind of be experiencing something new within that universe. And that's what Palworld feels like to me, is like, finally, I have a Pokemon game that I love. As an adult, I have a Pokemon game that I love, is what it feels like. And sure, there's definitely issues with the game. It is early access. It's rough around the edges in some respects. I mean, one of the things that sticks out most to me is whenever I'm playing it on PC, I'll play it on PC for hours and hours and hours. And then at the end of the night, I'll turn my PC off, I'll go to my bedroom, and I'll turn on the Series S, and I'll play it. And you can tell, even on Series X, you can tell that the audio files are quite degraded on Xbox. The audio files on Xbox, whether it's Series X or Series S, just sound kind of tinny. It's weird to explain, but you'll know it when you hear it. That's probably my biggest complaint with the game when playing on console. And then also, I remember I was in a party last night playing it with my buddy Ham, and he just fell through the map. And it's just one specific area on the map that he just fell through. He went back to go get his stuff. He fell through it again. So whatever's going on, it's just something in that area that it's broken. Now, again, the game's in early access, stuff like that happens. But when the total package is as fun as Palworld is, you can kind of overlook that stuff. Yeah, you're gonna get mad when it happens. I mean, obviously, because it's annoying, it's frustrating. But if you're having enough fun, which seems like everybody's having a ton of fun with the game, then you can kind of forgive those things, especially when it's stamped on the front of the game, game preview. But I've really been loving the game, and it's been really unexpected. Like I said earlier, I went from I'll give it a shot whenever I got some time to wow, I love this game and I don't want to stop playing it. Like at night when it's time to go to bed, I don't want to stop playing the game. It's one of those games. And it's so awesome to get one of those games, especially when you're not expecting one of those games. And it felt the same way with Elden Ring. I mean, Elden Ring, a lot of people expected that game to be that for them, but I didn't. I didn't like Souls games. I still don't like Souls games. I got that game entirely out of FOMO because my buddy Vinny was so hyped for it that I got FOMO and I'm like, fine, whatever, I'll get it. And then I ended up loving it. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and I couldn't stop playing it. And that's kind of how I feel about this game, where it's like, I was never expecting to play this game as much as I'm playing it, to love it as much as I love it. But here we are, it's incredibly fun, and I can't stop playing it. And it's not often that you get a game that does that for you. So I've kind of just been sitting back and enjoying it. But that's just my personal take on it, guys. But I want to hear from you guys. I'm sure a lot of you are playing Palworld, but leave in the comments your experience, what you think of the game. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you somewhere in between? Leave that in the comments below. Leave a like if you like the video. And if you're enjoying this kind of content and you want to stay up to date with it going forward over here on the channel, the best way to do that is consider subscribing. Consider ringing that notification bell because that helps you stay up to date with everything that goes on over here on the channel. And it helps promote me in the algorithm, helps push the videos out to way more people. And I always appreciate that. And with that being said, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.